na po ang lahat. And to formally welcome us to this day's webinar, we have our Executive Director, Engineer Noel C. Binag. Good morning, sir.
Morning. Thank you very much, DJ. Sa ating mga participants this morning, I would like to welcome you all sa ating series of OS seminars. Ang tawag po natin dito is Mag-usap Tayo. Actually, we are now entering the fifth episode. This is this series will hopefully lead to our seminar OS National OS Congress in November. So ang topic po natin today, this morning, is emergency preparedness for workplace setting. We know for a fact that ang ating DOLE 198 requires us to have emergency preparedness plan based on our programs, also programs in order to protect our workers from additional or all kinds of injuries or illnesses. I hope the important OS informations that you will be getting today with this webinar will help you craft a better OS program that we can say resilient, that is able to anticipate, recognize, and evaluate and introduce the necessary control measures in order to minimize the hazards. So sa ating pong lahat, wishing you a very productive morning with us. And I'm also inviting you in one of our future webinars to be with us again until November for this year. Maraming salamat po and thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, EB. And further ado, to talk about a very important topic kasi ngayong buwan po ito ay ang ating National Disaster Resilience Month dito po sa Pilipinas. And ang theme po ngayong taon ay tamang pamamahala at kahandaan, kaalaman at pagtutulungan sa sakuna at pandemya ay kalasag ng bayan. So we have here with us the Manager of Environment, Health and Safety of Texas Instruments Philippines Incorporated, Mr. Willie Simon. Good morning, sir.
Morning po. Good morning po, everyone. So, isi-share ko lang po yung screen ko. Okay, so let me check po if nakikita niyo na po yung screen ko.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think audio naman siguro natin okay na po. Okay, so good morning everyone. Good morning Philippines. Okay, so our topic for this morning assigned to our company. Thank you very much. Nandito po yung mentor po namin, Ma'am Rose Gonzalez. Thank you very much po for having you, the contact person, to give us this opportunity to talk to our safety practitioners here in the Philippines. So to start with, my presentation would be emergency preparedness in the Philippines. So in Texas Instruments, this is our motto when it comes to emergency preparedness: keeping small things small. Okay, so with this program on emergency preparedness, let me start with the question, who needs to prepare? So kung makikita po natin dito sa first na slide ko po, you can see in here the flaps. Okay, so ito po yung different departments na nagpre-prepare po para sa continuous operation po ng planta po natin. So nandito po yung flaps, sabi natin, finance, logistics, operations, planning, and safety. So what is the responsibility of these different departments? So basically, I will walk you through dito po. So yung si finance po and administration, they will be the one to provide finances and cost analysis. They will be the one to procure yung materials, administrative supports, yung human resource, and other related services that are concerns our finances in addressing our our needs for emergency preparedness. For our logistics, they will be the one to provide the facilities, the services, material supports, incident action plans. So sila po yung mag-provide po nan. For our operations, they will be the one to manage the tactical operations. How are we going to mitigate the hazards? How to restore the infrastructure and the services, establish controls for the existing situations po. And for planning, they will be the one to collect, evaluate, disseminate po yung mga informations, to utilize materials and resources, understand yung current situation po natin to predict probable course of action, prepare alternative strategies, and so on. Okay, and for safety, so this is very critical po. Yung po natin, yung readiness po natin starts from exercising po, diba? Yung mga actions related to whatever vulnerabilities the site has. So just like mayroon po ba tayong mga risk, so that is part of our risk assessment. Okay. Another responsibility of safety is response to recovery. Okay, should be done safely. Okay, so we'll be the one to ensure that those people responding to these emergencies are safe. We are also the one responsible to evaluate compliances of the materials, tools, and PPEs to be purchased for our emergency responders use. And of course, yan po, 24/7 po yung function po natin dito when it comes sa preparedness po ng site. Okay, so dito po sa TI, I have separated po yung guide po natin when it comes to addressing or preparing yung emergency responses po natin. So shown in here po, makikita po natin dito yung mga different standard operating procedures po ng TI. So this covers, ito po yung sinasabi po namin na specifications or standard po ni TI. So with this emergency preparedness response procedure, nakalagay po dito, establish minimum requirements for maintaining procedures in identifying and responding to emergency situations and plans to prevent and mitigate environmental impact and occupational illness, injury associated with the emergency situations. And dito po siya. So we can see in the lower part of my presentation, ito po yung mga different control measures po na nakalagay po dito o mga procedures po na susundan po natin depending on the vulnerability that we have assessed present in our site. So we have different specifications just like evacuation procedures, typhoon emergency procedures, and so on. So ito po yung mga vulnerabilities po na nalista po namin dito sa planta po natin. So with these vulnerabilities, dapat po specifically we have specific and customized procedures po for this specific hazards na nakita po natin or vulnerabilities sa site. Okay, so shown in here also are some of the specifications. So ito po yung mga details po, yung mga pinakita ko kanina na mga specifications po natin o procedures po natin, guidelines. Mayroon po kaming isa-isang procedure po dito related to this emergencies that are possible to happen in our respective in our sites. So we have in here the spill prevention, fire prevention, typhoon readiness, earthquake, so and so on. Marami, these are just examples po yung mga specific na standards po namin. And dito po sa emergency response, mayroon po kaming guide na sinusundan po. So in developing our emergency responses, we have guides to follow. So we have 6 steps po to follow to consider in developing this the programs related to these vulnerabilities or hazards in our workplace. So the first one is the assessment side. Okay, we will identify the site vulnerabilities and risk. So we have to check different areas. Okay, what are the hazards in this specific area? So we have fires, chemical spills, temperature, flooding, okay, explosions, and so on. Okay, the second part po dito is readiness. So dito po sa readiness, ito po yung pinakamaraming activity po na ginagawa po natin. Okay, so unang-una po, employee training and awareness. So dapat po all levels in the organization must know the responsibility when it comes to emergency. Okay, so we have in here how to report emergencies, emergency contact numbers, dapat nandyan po lahat, alam po nila, kabisado po nila. Other than yung mga materials po, or other than yung mga labels na inilagay po namin sa lahat ng mga telepono po namin dito sa loob ng planta, the emergency number ay nandun po siya. Okay, and very simple po, 2222. Okay, 42, apat po na 2. So if ever yung employee po natin talagang ninenervyos na po, dahil po may problema talaga, then he will just point his finger on top of the number 2 on the keypad, the telephone, then everything comes easily. So another part po ng readiness po natin is emergency ERT members, skills and competency. So ito po yung continuous program po namin when it comes to mga emergency responders po namin. Monthly, meron po kaming scheduled na topics to discuss internally. With the given situation ngayon with the pandemic, we are limited with the training that we could receive from the outside agencies, so we utilize yung corporate po namin. So our corporate members of the emergency response team will provide ng training po sa mga specific sites po. Okay, another one is response equipment availability, functionality, and reliability. So again, we believe na maski nandyan po yung equipment, but if they are not ready, they are not functional, then this tends to be useless. So part of yung readiness po natin ito. Communications and alarm systems. So nandito rin po. So we do conduct emergency drills as well, simulation drills. So just like sabi ko nga kanina, kung ano yung mga pinakamataas na vulnerabilities po dito sa site, we conduct simulation drill po in coincidence with our evacuation drills. So third po, dito na program po natin is response plan. So our response plans dwells purely on the procedures and the protocols. So everybody in all levels of the organization, based on the responsibilities that was mentioned in the flaps I have mentioned a while ago, they should have available procedures with them. Okay, just like po yung mga incident commanders po natin, meron po kami yung sinasabi namin na yellow book o green book. Okay, nandun po. So yung mga different supervisors, meron po sila noon. So in case there is a fire emergency, they have in there the list. So hindi, kasi normally kasi pagka hindi po written yan, hindi po nila masusundan yung step by step. So nandyan po, nakalista po lahat yung mga activities na gagawin po nila, what to follow, so that they could respond or they could direct yung responses po natin accurately. The fourth po is recovery. So the recovery, when there is an emergency, we will just activate the flap. So everybody in all departments, mayroon po silang responsibility dito. So we will just activate that. Everybody will work with their own the responsibilities to bring back the operation of the plant. And next one is po yung reporting. So of course, once we have recovered, okay, we have to report to management. Okay, what we have done, report to regulatory agencies, what needs to be reported to them, and yung moving forward actions po natin. Okay, and lastly po, ito po yung hindi po namin kinakalimutan parati. If there is an emergency, we have to sit down back and check what was missed. Okay, ano po yung mga feedback, ano po yung mga organizations, ay observations, at ano po yung mga improvement opportunities po na dapat po natin i-implement, okay, or i-improve dun sa sistema po natin. So again, sabi nga po natin, it starts from assessment and go back to reassessing what we have. Ito po yung programa po namin po dito sa emergency response dito po sa planta po namin. Okay, so again, we also have yung mga simple, diba? Simple informations po na dapat po all levels in the organization would know. So napaka-importante po in reporting emergencies, you should be familiar with the number that you are calling. So yan po, napakasimple lang po yung number po namin, 2222. At in any case po, kailangan po namin ng health center assistance, nandito rin po. Okay. Another one, all emergencies must be reported to security, health center, ESH, or because we are the so-called central coordination team. Dito po lahat pupunta, lahat po yung mga emergencies na nangyayari po dito, then we have to act immediately. So dito po, when we report emergencies, nandito po, we have also a step to follow. So nandito rin po, where, what, how many, who. So ito po yung mga basic na tinatanong po nung nag-receive doon sa 2222. So that with that, we will be able to plan how to respond. So say for example, meron po tayong spill sa specific area po. So with that, makikita po namin dapat solvent yung spill natin. So ito yung PPE ng mga magre-respond. So that's how it goes po. Okay? And lastly, report all incidents and suspicious perceptions or observations. So dito po sa mga training po na ibinibigay po namin dito sa training and awareness part ng readiness po natin, we are giving yung mga employees po namin yung mga specific hints, okay, to report in case that there are suspicious perceptions, or I would say unknown, diba? So just like for others, if these are unknown odors to them, it's not normal to them, then they have to report, because we don't know the impact of these suspicious perceptions or smells to our employees. So we consider that as an emergency. Okay. So also, we have part of our training as well. Simple question. So what to do in case of emergency? So very basic po. Report to emergency number. And nandito po, do not respond if not trained. So we are so strict with this one. So if we have employees who are interested to be members of the emergency response team, we have trainings available. Okay, so we can cater all employees qualified to become an emergency responders. Then we have to train them, provide them the skills so that they will be ready, okay, to help us out in case we have an emergency. Okay, so the next part po nung isang programa po natin dito is yung existing po ngayon na pinakamalaking problema natin ng lahat po, entire Philippines, not only entire Philippines, but entire the world po, yung communicable disease po, kasi nasabi natin na pandemic. So in here, we have established po isang yung program po dito. And we call it Communicable Disease Management Program. So with this, yung sinabi po namin, nandito po yung purpose po namin, establish a guideline in responding to communicable disease. So this does not apply only to COVID, but whatever communicable disease that will happen. So we could have yung mga iba pang communicable diseases that would come, then we have in place protocols, procedures, controls. Okay, so if you can see din po dito, we have 16. Okay, we have 16 references po dito. So yung una po na 11, ito po ay guideline po ng corporate po namin. So what we do in here is we have a corporate guideline, then we have to modify if needed. We have to modify these guidelines from our corporate that fits our need or that fits our concern in a specific site. So ito po. Then again, comes yung mga additional na regulatory requirements po natin, yung mga guidelines po, mga memorandum circulars. Nandito po, idinagdag po namin as our reference. So basically, kung ito pong programa namin po na ito, kompleto po siya. So it does not only concerns yung guideline po namin as a company, but we are really involved, okay, in 100% compliance to our regulatory requirement. So yun po yung isang ini-integrate po namin sa lahat po ng mga programa namin. Whatever programs po meron kami, we have to involve po yung yung authority having jurisdictions guidelines po natin dito. Okay, so meron din po kami sa existing problem natin ngayon. Meron po kami, nag-establish po kami dito po sa kumpanya namin ng mga respective personnel. Okay, what to perform, what to do, what are the respective tasks when it comes to the control of this pandemic. So this organization is headed by our President and Managing Director. Okay, si Sir Erwin po. Then all the directors reporting to him have their specific task when it comes to the control of the COVID-19. So as we can see in here, we have our HR. Okay, they have their responsibilities also. We have our Government and Communications Director, our communications, okay, supplies, emergency, evaluations and response for our business continuity plan. Okay, nandito po yung mga responsibility nila. And of course, dito po sa facilities, kami po yung sinasabi natin na operations when regards to disinfecting, okay, yung mga specific areas and emergency response in any case po. Okay, so moving forward po dito po sa programs po natin. Okay, so dito sa programa po natin sa COVID control, mayroon po kaming 5 major steps. Okay, ito po yung i-establish po natin in collaboration with the other sites po ng TI, worldwide and Asia-wide. So we have first step is on the screening process, the social distancing implementation, okay, transmission reduction, and communications and fan-in. So what we can see in here is before our employees come into office or reports to work, we already have established procedures in our own. Okay, once we are inside the site, we have protocols to follow. Whenever you are inside the site, we have protocols to follow. If in any case we have so we have transmission reduction processes as well. And of course, let our people know through communications department that we have this case, we have something to do. We have to enhance or strengthen our controls and compliances. And of course, we have to share what good practices we have with the other sites as well. And similarly, other sites' practices will be shared as well to our sites. So that's how we operate as a corporate. Okay, so going through yung mga protocols po natin dito. So dito po sabi nga natin sa arrival protocol. So nandito po, mandatory po yung temperature checking natin. So medical screening, hand sanitizing. Okay, so yung requirement at the entrance of our building, no face mask, no face shield, no entry. So again, this is also the availability of the materials that we need. The compliance of these people is being monitored by our security and other responsible individuals that are inside the site or tasked to implement this function, because we do also have established yung sinabi po namin dito na social distancing team. So these are the people who goes out every day in all areas to check compliances, and if there are non-compliances, then we have to report, and we have to communicate this to their supervisors as well for immediate actions. Okay, site arrival protocol. So we do have also. So if ever we have visitors, we have employees coming back after a leave or whatever, we have protocols as well. Okay, health, travel and health declaration. So we are very sensitive on this. So all employees who needs to travel out of the BLIS area, we call it the BLIS area, then they have to inform our health center. And once they arrive here in Baguio or in our place, they have to report back for evaluation again before they could come to our office. So in any case, dito po sa daily health declaration po namin, we have yung ibinigay po ni DOLE and DTI po na mga checklist. So nandito po, we are implementing this 101%. Okay, so also in our site, once we are already in our site, we have to follow with the so-called control zones protocol. So we have identified several areas with the specific requirements to follow. In any case, we have in these specific areas, just like our hot zone. So the hot zone falls under cafeteria, vendor area, smoking area, health centers, isolation rooms. So we have in here the requirements. Okay, enter and exit. So we have one way. Okay, wash hand sanitizers. Okay, we minimize chatting or talking with each other. Okay, mask on when possible. Okay, follow social distancing marks. Okay, so we have mark. We can see in the coming slides, next slides, the markings that we have put all throughout the site. For our yellow zone, so this belongs at the admin office, meeting rooms, conference rooms, warehouses, in our ATM and transactions areas, spines. So these are also the requirements. If you are in this area, you have to comply with these requirements as well. Similar with our cold zone areas. So we have in our cold zone areas, this is in the manufacturing floor. So we have the requirements as well in here. Okay, wear appropriate PPE on top of the mask and face shield. So as well, I would like also to highlight also on the use of face shield in the manufacturing areas, because there are some companies as well whose product is sensitive to ESD, and the face shield that we have being purchased in the market does not comply or does not pass the ESD requirement. So what we do in here is we utilize the safety glasses instead of the bare eyes exposed. So we could not comply with the totally shielded face and eyes. Then we have at least some protections with our eyes. So we implement the use of safety glasses in all areas, whether there is a risk of eye injury or none. We have provided our employees with safety glasses for purposes of protecting the eyes. Okay, so social distancing as well in our elevator. So we have specific marks. Previously, as long as the elevator could carry the weight, then we have to put on people. Now we have limited it to 3. And this is what we have done in our elevators. For our cafeteria, so we have done a lot as well in our cafeterias. So other than the use of the barriers, other than the use of the face shields and face masks, we have marked the floors for social distancing purposes as well. Also with the spoon and fork, so we have to make sure somebody is in charge that the spoon and fork area, the spoon and fork to be taken are all sanitized. We call it sanitized. And also we have implemented yung work from home. So until now we are still having yung work from home. So we have groupings as well. Okay, so also in some other areas, so we have reduced capacity. In all areas, we have reduced capacity. So this is what we do, because site-wide, we have reduced the capacity as well. Okay, so we have restrictions as well posted in different areas inside the plant. So we restrict or we discourage talking, no phone calls on the common telephones. So you have to use your own phone. Okay, social distancing, no sharing of food. There has been a lot of employees who receive disciplinary measures with regards to violation of the sharing of foods, because this is one avenue where we are looking at some transmissions. So we really do implement this very strictly. Okay, so social distancing also in our meeting rooms. If there is a need that we need to have a meeting face to face, and we have to maintain the so-called social distancing. The barriers have been in place also in our meeting rooms. Okay, the time identified 15 minutes, no meeting beyond 15 minutes. So if the meeting needs to be 30 minutes or 15 minutes longer, it should be on the virtual mode. Okay, we have also reduced capacity in our meeting rooms. So previously, the meeting rooms contain as much can cater as much as 50. Now we only limit it to 10. So that's how we discourage the face-to-face meetings in our site. Okay, in our offices as well. So majority of our employees, as I have mentioned a while ago, has been on the work from home, or we are on alternate work from home, work from office mode. So again, we do have the requirements as well, other than the elimination of some of the chairs. Okay, so what we did is remove the chairs to sustain the capacity that we allow. We implement also, or continue to implement, the strict use of face shield and face mask in our offices. And basically, we do have also dividers. So we installed physical dividers as well in our offices. Okay, in our transport as well. So other than the reduced capacity, we have put controls as well. So our security has been so strict in implementing this. So we have assigned permanent seats per employee. So meaning to say, if we have a change in shift, okay, or change schedules, we have to change everything. Okay, so our security needs 2 weeks before we execute the change shift or the change schedule. The supervisors must have to coordinate with our security, such that this will be in place first before we will execute the change schedule. Wearing of face mask and face shield is required. Okay, even we are inside the bus. And also regular disinfection. So this is being monitored as well. Once our employees gets out of the bus, disinfection. Okay, that's how it goes. And of course, cleaning and disinfecting frequency. So every after unloading. So every time people get out, so the driver will have to clean all over again. Okay, and again, similar with some other areas. Okay, the requirement: no talking, no eating, no phone calls. We do also have guidelines when it comes to our smoking area. So even though we discourage smoking in our site, but again, with due respect to those who really could not resist on smoking, so we have a strong ethics policy as well. So that's their privilege as well. So we do have, but they have to follow the strict guidelines. So previously we have the LGU guideline, wherein they are given us one smoking area is 10 square meters with initial capacity of 6. Now there was a revision on the guideline wherein they just allow 5. So we revised. Okay, we revised again our smoking area setup. And we have more restrictions in our smoking areas. No talking, no eating, no phone calls, no vape. Okay. And of course, the social distancing. In our washrooms or toilets, so we do have also. So the latest program that we are implementing is the badge. Okay, so we have limited number of people. We have defined limited number of people to get inside the CR. So we have put hooks where to put the ID. So if all the hooks in there has an ID, then we could not get inside. You could not get inside the CR. Wait until one of the hooks is vacant. Then that's the time you could put on your ID and get in. Okay, so for our stairs, okay, so we do have also the protocols, and this is one of the very common observations that we see. Okay, and employees report non-compliances. So we do have signages as well, directional arrows, directional signs installed in our stairs and walkways. Okay, in our ante-rooms, or we call it the areas before we will get inside our manufacturing floors. So we do have guidelines as well. We have proper markings, okay, on the lockers. So there are markers on the areas where they wear their apparels. There are markings as well. We have areas on where they put their jackets. So there are appropriate, or there are sufficient spaces given in between their jackets as well. Okay, and the same, we discourage talking, no phone calls as well, together with the common guide requirements of face mask, face shield, and social distancing. Okay, so in our production line as well, so on top of the clean room apparels that we do, we still require the use of the face. As of this time, we have already sourced out a face mask appropriate to the manufacturing floor, wherein it complies with the filtering capacity of the surgical mask, and it complies with the clean room requirements. So this is an improvement that we have done to cater also the concerns by our manufacturing personnel related to the discomfort also of having to mask in the manufacturing floor for extended period of time as well. Okay. So also when it comes to our break, so we establish also a staggered break procedure. So we divided the groups or our employees on different timelines. So we have put in here lesser people in the manufacturing floor, in the canteen area. So as you can see in here, in the entrances, we have the alcohols stands. Okay, so these are automatic alcohols. Then at the dining area, there are also alcohol stations and wipes. So after our employees finish their food, leave the area, they have to disinfect their own tables. So that is our protocol. And other than that, we have also a guideline that we have to avoid talking while eating, or while we have inside in the canteen area. We have established also restrictions where and when not to use face shields and face masks. So only when eating, you are exempted from using your face shield and face mask. Eating, drinking, and brushing. So these are the only scenarios where the face mask and face shield are allowed to be removed from the face. Other than that, wherever area you go, that is a requirement: face mask, face shield, and social distancing. And we also have extended our cafeteria. So we utilized our library, auditorium, and HR testing rooms as well to cater the numbers of our employees taking their meals or breaks. We do also have our disinfection in all areas in our factory. So we have identified different all areas, and at the same time in a specific area there is a frequency established. So we have logbooks to monitor if these are done. We have supervisors reporting non-compliances or not being followed protocols when it comes to cleaning. Okay, so we have cleaning frequencies in our clinic. It's comfort rooms, conferences, elevators, and so on. Okay. Also, since the area or our factory is an air-conditioned area, so we do have also this regular disinfection of our air handling units. So we do have established also procedures in this. So our facilities and our support team, our contractor is also in charge in executing this. So we do use normally the 70% IPA solution in disinfecting this area. Communication. So this is a very important part of emphasizing the need for our people to comply. Okay, and of course, this is one avenue for us to reiterate to our people the need to cooperate. So in here, we have our our senior VP giving his message to everyone. We also have our updates, regular updates coming from our communications director. Okay, every time there is a need that we need to pass down information for our employees to know, then we have to do that is being done. Okay, we have also distributed hygiene kits, and we continue to provide what our employees needs when it comes to the control of this, just like continuous provision of face masks, face shields, and other needed items for their protection from COVID. Okay. So some of the passed down informations that we have received from our communications department, highlighting the need to interaction less than 15 minutes. Okay. Also holiday reminders. So again, we communicate not only inside TI but also outside. Okay, so that's still part of our responsibilities to our employees to maintain their safety. So groupings and among employees and TIers and contractors are also being monitored. So holiday parties, team buildings were all discouraged and not being allowed. Okay. Since the start of the pandemic, TP has already sent out 51 COVID-related bulletins. So with this length of time, really our communications department is very busy communicating to our employees what our management wants or wants to inform our employees to keep them safe. At 2 times business continuity plan meetings for our management and the different department to understand where we are in our metric on the COVID compliances, our operations as well. So how this COVID affects our operations, what critical items that we need to monitor such that we will guarantee continuous operation of our our site, instill compliance of safety guidelines. So we at ESH do this together with the social distancing team, make sure that these guidelines are implemented. So we do it daily inspections. And lastly, we impose disciplinary actions to repeat violators. Okay, so this is one reason or one way to show that our management really cares for our employees. If they deserve disciplinary actions, we have to prevent them, because we have to think also not only them but also those people who could be affected. So we'd rather have them given the disciplinary measures rather than having very few people to work in the company. Also, we have established also, so if in any case there are positive COVID-19 employees, so we have also established a procedure. How are we going to address and control the spread? So we have listed in here 10 steps that these employees in charge of control and contact tracing must follow. Taking initiative identified for contact tracing. So once we have a positive, we have to move fast, identifying these people who are in close contact with those positive employees. Then we have to isolate, okay, on-site personnel on-site for health assessment. So if there are symptoms, immediately we pull out these people, put them in the isolation area that we have identified in each entrance of the building, and it's there where our emergency or medical personnel will have to attend to them. Then after assessment, send personnel home for monitoring. So employee can only come on site after they pass the virtual assessment. Okay, monitoring also all identified employees that has been listed in the contact tracing. So we have to have our health center is doing a good job in sustaining this. So daily monitoring of these personnel employees, so that in any case their case were aggravated, then we could act immediately. Okay, manage the attendance record of affected employees as well. So we also have a guideline from our human resource department how to also help these people affected by this pandemic. A secure health clearance from the City Health Services Office as well. So we collaborate with the Health Services Office to comply with them, and at the same time impose the most stringent measure such that we are sure that returning employees are safe to deal with the employees inside the site. We call employees currently off-site for virtual health assessment and return to work instruction. So meaning to say, for those people on virtual or outside of the site, then we do conduct virtual health assessment before they will come to office. Once on-site, report to health center. So before they will go to their workplaces, they have to report first to work center for assessment if they are fit to work or not. And monitor all identified employees' health status on daily basis from return to work date. So it does not mean that those returning employees have already been working, then let them go. No, we still monitor, our health center will still monitor them. Okay, so with this, TI really, through our corporate social responsibilities, are committed to our employees. So in our own simple way, TI has been helping the community as well. So these are the help that we have extended to our needing communities. Okay, so we have shared items just like sorry. So just like yung clean room apparels or the protective equipments, gloves, so on for the hospitals. Food, we have also shared food, okay, to some of our communities. Okay, so I think that's all we have for TP. Mayroon po tayong tanong o mayroon po tayong...
Maraming salamat po, Sir Willie, for sharing ang napaka-comprehensive po ninyo ng mga disaster and emergency preparedness protocols, no? Actually po, nakarating na po ako dyan sa inyong opisina during the GKK validation, and I can say po talaga na napakahusay po ng Texas Instruments pagdating po dito sa emergency preparedness. And I'm glad to see nga po, nakita ko na yung office nila, sir, ngayon meron ng mga divisions even sa CR. And napaka-importante po nitong shinare nyo, sir, na communicable disease management preparedness, kasi this will really help in making the company resilient, ano po, kasi hindi lang naman itong COVID-19 ang magiging huling pandemic natin. Hindi natin alam kung sa mga susunod na pagkakataon ay may iba pang klaseng virus or iba pang klaseng pandemic na mangyayari. At sa totoo lang, sir, napakadami po na nanghihingi po ng inyong ng copy ng inyong presentation, sir. Pwede po ba namin itong mahingi sa inyo para ma-share din po namin sa kanila, sa mga participants po natin today?
Sure po, ma'am. Sure po. We will share this.
So ayan po, sa lahat po na nagtatanong, after po ng evaluation natin, no, yung mga makakapag-accomplish ng evaluation form, ipapadala po namin itong presentation ni Sir Willie kasama po ng inyong mga certificates. Ayan. Thank you po for sharing this, Sir Willie. Napaka-comprehensive. And I must say, magandang benchmark po ito para sa lahat po ng companies. Sige po, puntahan po natin itong mga katanungan, no, na ibinigay po nila kanina. Meron pong question si Sir Arvin Lakyao from Excellent Tech Screens. Sabi niya po, what did you do about the safety, Stay Safe PH app kapag hindi lahat ng empleyado ay may cellphone, load, or internet? Regarding po ito, sir, sa contact tracing.
So with regards po dito po sa Stay Safe Act po, our company is still coming up with a decision if we will go with these apps, because currently we do already have our existing process to do this contact tracing, but again, we are not closing the opportunity to be part of these apps as well and utilize this one. So in due time, most probably once we have collaborated and our HR and legal department will be able to finalize what will be our stand on this, then surely we will use these Stay Safe apps.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Next question po is from Mr. Edwin Mirafelix. Sabi niya po, what is your protocol for mass transport of workers?
So actually po ma'am, we still maintain po yung mga shuttle services po namin, but with reduced capacity and added restrictions po inside the buses during the transport. So proactive actions po na ginagawa po namin, other than yung virtual assessment ng mga employees po namin who are feeling yung symptoms while they are at home prior to coming to work. Then we do also have securities monitoring our buses, boarding employees to check on the temperature as well before they will board in the buses. So that's one proactive measure na ginagawa po namin. So we really do extra mile to control this and prevent these potential infected employees getting inside our gates in the plant. inside. Yes po.
Okay, thank you, sir. Meron po siyang isa pang question, si Sir Edwin po. Ano po ba ang pina-follow ninyo sa social distancing, sir? Parang nagkaroon siya ng confusion kung 1 meter po ba o 2 meters ang inyong sinusunod ng social distancing.
Dito po sa planta po namin, we maintain the 1 meter because if we will go with the 2 meters, it seems yun na po magkasya yung spine po namin sa haba po ng pila ng pupunta sa canteen. But on top of the 1 meter, we are really very serious in implementing the use of the face mask and face shield. So that's one action that we are doing to compensate the 2 meters requirements on social distancing.
Sir? From Mr. Teotimo Villapando Jr. of LF Philippines Incorporated, on the use of stairs, since COVID-19 is also transmissible in commonly touched surfaces, what are the mitigating controls to avoid or mitigate exposure for the handrail sa mga hagdan po ninyo, sir?
Okay. So actually po ma'am, we have defined frequencies in cleaning or disinfecting the handrails of our stairs. But one sure control that we are doing is before they will enter the building, they have to have a disinfection at the entrance. And whenever they will go inside the CRs or somewhere else, they have to have disinfection activity. All our entrances, rooms, conferences, CRs, spine, or entrances, whatever are those, we have alcohol stations in there. So there's no need that they can miss out if ever the cleaning or the disinfection of these handrails may not be sufficient. But again, we have personal controls to our employees who could help us do the protection for them with regards to the handrails. And yeah.
Okay, sir, meron din pong nagtatanong kung ano raw po solution or chemical ang ginagamit po ninyo sa disinfection ng mga surfaces.
Pardon po ma'am, disinfection po na
Mga surfaces po, sir.
% pa rin po na alcohol, IPA, 70% IPA po.
The next question po is from Mr. Wilson Pielago. Do you have a policy or procedure to handle if your employees have boyfriend or girlfriend, o siguro close friends na din, in other departments which might be possible COVID suspects?
Yes, ma'am. We have declaration. So say for example, not only boyfriend or girlfriend, but kabahay po nila. Say for example, we have regular employee TIR and a contractor living in the same household, or yes. So they have to submit a declaration. So that could also help us when it comes to contact tracing. Okay, self-declaration po.
Is from Achenza Berania. In case of emergency, have you considered your assembly areas in controlling social distancing in case of evacuation?
Yeah, this is really the dilemma that we could not ensure 100% compliance because we could not monitor all areas, especially those panicking employees if in case there is an actual emergency. But again, the sure thing that we are really emphasizing is whatever you do, whatever be your case, whatever be the situation you are in, do not put down your guards. Okay, so just if we could not meet the social distancing requirement, at least you are protecting yourself. You have your face mask, you have your face shield.
Thank you, sir.
We could not really guarantee the 100% compliance to social
Ako
distancing.
medyo mahirap nga po kapag
Yes,
evacuation. Sir. Next question po. Do you have plans in upgrading your existing protocols now that we are facing a Delta variant?
Actually, ma'am, actually, we are continuously looking for opportunities to improve further what we have, because well, considering this Delta variant impact or the mode of transmission is somehow different. So I think as we go along, because we do have teams also in collaboration with our health center and the LGU, we are constantly working with them to, well, keep abreast on the latest improvements that we can implement in our sites. So basically, we will grab whatever latest guideline or latest technology that we can to protect our employees, because our management really is 101% really focusing on people's safety to guarantee the continuous operation of our plant.
Ngayon, sir, COVID-free pa rin po ba ang Texas Instruments?
Meron na po kaming cases, ma'am. We have cases already. But the good thing is the cases right now, because with the really very tedious and comprehensive, I would say comprehensive contact tracing and the discipline we are instilling to our employees, starting middle June, the cases are going down. So nag-peak po kami ng mga March, April. Medyo tumaas po kami that time. So talagang trinabaho ulit po namin to improve a lot of things. Then right now, nag-improve na po kami. Bumaba na po yung trend.
We're glad to know that, sir.
Yes.
Sir, meron pong isa pang question from Mr. Ronel Evangelista. How about your ventilation sa loob ng plant? How do you comply po with the requirements?
Yeah. Actually po, ma'am, when it comes to ventilation, dito po sa Baguio, kami po yung pinagkokonsultahan po ng LGU, because other than yung we are compliant, we are more stringent actually with the guideline that have been passed down, and we are sharing yung knowledge po or yung expert people po namin dito to the community as well. So actually we have our facilities manager going to the city hall to discuss this with the city mayor and to the technical team of the city government, how we could pass down this good practice or the setup of our site when it comes to ventilation. Yes po.
Sir, next question po. Paano niyo po ginagawa, sir, ang conduct ng drills ngayong pandemic? Siguro, sir, referring to earthquake and fire drills po ito.
Yeah. Actually po, ma'am, we don't conduct drills po because other than yung parati pong umuulan dito sa Baguio, yun pong problema po namin talaga yung social distancing. But yung ginagawa po namin dito is we go to specific areas, go to different areas and tell them what is the protocol. What we have done only is evacuation drill, earthquake drill, 2 shift. But that is already covered na lahat. Yeah, we did. Yeah, actually we did the evacuation drill, the duct cover and yes po, yes, but did not go out. But they did not go out of the area. They just so we just observed how they do it, but we did not let them get out from the area. So at least we have somehow had an idea how much our people are prepared when it comes to actual earthquake emergency. Yes.
for that. Next po, do you have a sanction, sir, for employees who did not declare symptoms or their close contacts?
Yes po, ma'am. Actually po, ma'am, kasi ito rin po yung kung minsan ito po yung nakakasakit din ng damdamin sa part po namin na tumatrabaho dito. And at the same time, yung mga affected po na employee po ba kasi nagkasakit na nga ako, bibigyan pa ako ng disciplinary measures. But our explanation is safety is everybody's responsibility. So just merely protecting yourselves, you are already protecting other people. That's how we emphasize the need to provide the honest declaration, because they are not only helping themselves but helping also those unaware people who could be infected by those people who doesn't declare. So yun po. Actually naman po, marami yung mga ganung cases po talaga, but we really have to show that this is a policy of the company and this is a guideline or requirement from the regulation. So the only thing we can do is implement it for the benefit of the majority of our population.
Next question po. How do you address typhoon emergency? Do you have shelters in place?
Yes po, ma'am. We have identified internal building, how do you call that? Parang master locations po. So we have identified areas. So say for example, your area has been flooded because of, so we have identified several rooms dito po sa loob po ng building po namin. So that is when they are inside the plant. But how about those people who are outside when there is a typhoon? So what we do is those people typhoon dito na po sa loob, so we don't allow them. We will provide them a resting place inside TI until the typhoon is over, because it's true, we will allow them to get out of the plant during the height of the strong typhoon, but that could be another risk and is still our responsibility to these employees. So rather hold them here at the plant, provide them resting place. If they need to rest, then we will go and rest. If they need to work, we will pay them overtime. So that's how we do it. So we have to do the best decision in a certain situation we are in. So yun po yung protocol po namin dito.
Sir, meron pa pong isang nagtatanong tungkol sa earthquake. Kung sakaling may earthquake, is it advisable to have an assembly area where you can monitor if all employees have already evacuated their area?
Evacuated. Pardon po yung last po.
Meron daw po, advisable po ba na magkaroon ng assembly area kung saan pwede ma-monitor kung lahat na ng employee ay nakapag-evacuate na po? Siguro sir, ang tinatanong niya in case of actual earthquake.
Yes, ma'am. Actually po, ma'am, dito po sa loob po ng planta po namin, we have 6 designated master locations. Yun po yung sinasabi namin na merging area po natin. In any case, we need to evacuate out of the building. And this has been properly assessed that they are away from high-rise buildings, trees, or something in case of emergency. So we have a very wide space to cater our people evacuating the building. So malalayo po kami, ma'am. Malalayo po kami sa mga buildings, yung mga designate po namin na master locations po, malalayo po sa mga buildings po namin.
Sir, balik po dun sa COVID protocols. Do you have a mental health program for those who test positive for COVID for your employees?
Yes po, ma'am. We have anong tawag natin yung program na yun? We have an HR and health center program po yan. Just like a team of psychologists who could assist our employees. So it is open. I could not just remember what company we are tied in to assist our employees who could be in this situation. we have po ma'am an accredited third party.
So another question from Ms. Reza Marcel. How often do you check your facilities on compliance to protocols, especially COVID-19 protocols?
Kami po ma'am, daily po. We walk around in offices, in entrances, wherever, in the canteen. We do that daily.
So araw-araw. Tama po yan, sir. Araw-araw talaga. From Paz Fernandez, do you provide a go bag for employees who are stranded in your facility?
What you mean is stranded ma'am in case po of typhoon?
Siguro po in case they are forced to stay inside dahil hindi na makalabas.
Yes po ma'am. Actually, our emergency response team, courtesy of our security team, have and health center have established sufficient number of blankets, beds, folding beds, pillows. So we have needed items to cater yung mga need po ng mga stranded na empleyado po namin dito sa loob.
Sir, regarding po sa go bag or siguro po yung emergency kit na pinaprovide niyo sa employee, may nagtatanong po, pwede niyo po bang i-share kung ano po ang laman ng inyong go bag?
Sure po. We will do that.
Next question po. Meron daw po ba kayong landslide emergency program?
Yes po ma'am, mayroon din po. Yes po.
Sobrang ang dami pong nagtatanong. Medyo mahirap pong umikot dito sa kanina, prevention and preparedness on storm. Sir, prevention and preparedness on storm surge or flooding.
Actually po ma'am, wala po yung vulnerability po dito sa bagyo na storm surge. Opo, kung meron man siguro hindi na wala na wala nang mga tao.
Flooding lang po siguro, sir. Opo. Flooding lang po siguro.
Mas probably siguro doon sa low-lying areas po or near the
May nagtatanong din po, sir, about your program on vaccination of employees.
Vaccination of employees po. Yes po ma'am. We have program po for that. But in the event na yun nga po, medyo yung mga private companies po is nahihirapan po. Our company is instructing our employees to grab what the LGU could offer while waiting for yung delivery po ng mga vaccine po na in order po namin. But actually, the good news is they just informed us this morning that we will have our first vaccination for our employees to happen tomorrow. And actually, ma'am, yung dito po sa site po namin, yung gym po namin, in-offer po namin for the locators in PESA to be utilized para maging vaccination area po ng locators po dito sa PESA Baguio. So, yung pwede pa namin mai-offer sa community and to the PESA locators as well.
Next question po, meron na rin po ba kayong safety seal from the DTI?
Wala pa po. Wala pa po kasi yung requirement po ng isa dito is yun po yung rini-review namin doon sa isang regulation po. Safety seal requirement po niyan is yung sa Stay Safe App. Yung yun po yung dinidiscuss po namin doon sa legal tsaka human resource department po namin if they will push through with that, then we at ESH department will work on the application.
Sir? Mr. Alan Gicana, how often do you review and revise your emergency response and contingency plan?
Dito po ma'am is minimum yearly po. We have to revisit. Kasi there could be changes that we need to adapt. It could be coming from our corporate, or it could be from the CDCC or any agencies that covers this program po. Kaya or as often, kaya nga po minimum po yung yearly na review po namin.
Sir, meron pong tanong dito, pero I guess this question hindi lang sa PI, ano? Ang tanong po niya is, paano po kung ang company ay surrounded ng mga buildings? Paano po kaya ang magandang evacuation area?
So ibig sabihin po ma'am, siguro nandun po sila sa areas na talagang limited po siguro. Limited po yung mga spaces po nila. I think.
Tanong po siguro kung anong suggestion niyo, sir.
Yes po ma'am. I think I could not, but again, yung given the requirements po ng distances po, sinasabi po yata doon sa requirement is yung merging area po is at least 1.5 times the height of the building. So if we don't have sufficient space or area to do that, I don't think I could not. Most probably we could have yung mga government agency po in charge of this, because I would say if they will be the one to recommend, then that would not be a violation. Pero yun po talagang mahirap po talaga. That is really a dilemma of those employees located on those areas that doesn't have enough spaces for evacuation.
Sir, meron pa rin pong isa pang question. How do you observe maximum capacity of employees or visitors per room or area?
Nandun po sa isang memorandum po yata ng DOLE DTI po. So I think sabi yata doon is 10%
ng capacity.
So, we really comply. We really talagang yun po yung we literally interpret it and comply with it. Yun po yung ginagawa po namin, ma'am.
Next po. Do you have any type of audible sound to distinguish what kind of emergency the employees have to respond to? Meron po bang magkakaibang klaseng tunog ng alarm ito, sir?
Meron niya po ba? Alarm, yung emergency notification system. So we have separate po yung fire at saka separate po yung other emergencies. Ma'am. So magkaiba po yun. So fire ang hiwalay po. Then the other emergency, we will just turn on yung other sound. Then that would mean, kasi dito po sa mindset po ng mga employee namin, pag gumalaw po o kaya nag-activate po yung notification system po namin, immediately they have to evacuate. Yun po yung mindset po ng mga tao namin. Kaya napakadelikado po na maggalaw po namin yung notification system, kasi sometimes kung minsan very fast po yung mga reaction po ng mga employee namin na just crankling only on the speaker system, lalabas na po yan kaagad. Kaya mahirap po talaga na kuan. So yun po talagang any sound po pas po sa notification system po namin. Sometimes yung mga ibang employee, whether they recognize it or not, basta nag-sound po yan, other than po yung chime namin na pauwi, then they have to get out. Yun po yung mindset po ng employee po namin.
Ay, ano man po ang basta tumunog po ang alarm.
Yes po, ma'am. Yes po.
Meron pong nagtatanong, sir, about, actually hindi ko po alam, sorry, ito ano ibig sabihin ng kanyang BCP. How do you implement your BCP? For example, there is a massive fire in the plant.
Oh. So dito po sa business continuity plan po it, has something to do with the actions that we have to execute to put back the operation. So yun po ma'am. So sabi ko po doon sa flaps kanina na ipinakita ko po yan, that's part po ng business continuity plan. So ibig sabihin po, pagka mayroon pong incident just like fire and there is an affected area that could stop our operation. So depending on the gravity and the impact and the time of recovery, we have escalation process po ma'am. And we as much as high as going to the corporate people. So pagka yung level 1, level 2, ibig sabihin po yan ma'am, level 1 at level 2 is hindi po naapektuhan yung operations namin at an extended period of time. Ibig sabihin po hindi po mahahamper yung delivery po namin ng mga units sa mga customers po namin. Then we don't need to escalate it to the corporate. But once po na talagang maapektuhan po yung operation, especially po yung mga customers po namin, then we have to notify our worldwide. Ganun po ma'am, yung BCP po namin.
Ang dami po talagang questions on evacuation from Mr. Gilbert Celestino. How does your disaster management team identify your evacuation center? Do you implement post-evacuation management or forced evacuation management?
Pakiulit po ma'am. Hindi ko po na...
And po, how does your disaster management team identify your evacuation center? Do you implement post-evacuation management or forced evacuation management?
Depende po kasi ma'am, ito ma'am ay sa situation.
So, o parang naghang.
So,
Sir Willie, medyo choppy po kayo, sir. Sir Willie?
in feedbacks,
Tayin lang po natin ng konti. Mukhang nagkaroon ng technical problems sa Sir Willie. Engineer Concepcion T. Santo Tomas. Good morning, Ma'am Connie.
Good morning, DJ. Salamat, DJ. Okay, so at this point po, una sa lahat, gusto po naming pasalamatan ang ating resource person ngayon, si Mr. Willie Simon po from Texas Instruments. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your expertise in the field of emergency preparedness in the workplace. Actually, hindi lang po dito kami magpapasalamat para sa webinar na ito on emergency preparedness, but Sir Willie Simon, thank you also for continuously supporting our REU, Regional Extension Unit in CAR sa Baguio po. Regular speaker po si Mr. Simon sa ating weekly Safety Officer 1 training. So yan po, maraming salamat sir. And also, gusto po namin pasalamatan kayong mga participants for attending this webinar. As I scroll po yung mga participants from all over the Philippines, from the different sectors of from different industries, including manufacturing, meron tayong sa construction, pati yung mga STO natin, nandito po, meron din po sa mga government offices. So, maraming salamat po sa pag-attend nyo dito sa ating webinar. So, kaya naman po, ang aming agency ay talagang na-inspire din po dahil marami po interesadong matuto at ng mga maybe hindi bago, no, or update ng mga kaalaman tungkol sa occupational safety and health. So maraming salamat at nabigyan tayo ng napakagandang impormasyon ng ating resource person ng importance po ng itong ating emergency preparedness in the workplace dahil napaka-importante po na magkaroon tayo ng kaalaman para naman po kung magkaroon tayo ng mga emergencies, sunog, ano pa, sabihin natin mga natural calamities at higit sa lahat po itong ating pati na nga po itong ating sitwasyon ngayon, yung ating yung nangyayaring pandemic, alam po natin ang tamang gawin po ng bawat isa, no? So preparedness is really important po. Okay, so at this point, kami po ay marami pa po, iniimbitahan pa po namin kayo sa marami pa pong webinar na gagawin po ng Occupational Safety and Health at hanggang magawa po natin ang ating National OSH Congress sa November. So sa ngalan po ng aming Executive Director, si Engineer Noel Binag, again, maraming salamat po sa inyong interest na madagdagan ng kaalaman para po sa safety and health. Thank you.